So just wait for a couple more people to come through. While you're coming in, I'll just kind of talk a little bit about what the aim is of this evening. So in the past, we have looked at quiz tools and quiz software, but my aim is to now take it to another step, showcase some different software that we can use. So I'm going to be looking tonight at Quizzizz. Not sure if that's how you pronounce it. It's got lots of Z's in it, but it's Quizzizz, which is a great tool. I like. My personal research background is a lot in gamification, so this is a way of gamifying the learning experience. The nice thing about Quizzizz, and I'm going to showcase tonight, is that it's not just about building a quiz, but it's also allowing students that opportunity to do further on their own. And because of the game-based nature of it, where they get points and power-ups and they kind of build their little avatar, it's quite nice and fun for them. I'm also going to then go back to looking at Microsoft Forms and Google Forms to create a quiz. And my intention is to take an existing quiz that I've got to show how we can build it on both Forms and Google Forms, highlighting the strengths of both and also where one is potentially a little bit better than the other, just for your own personal studies. As throughout all of this, as we've done in the past, I have Lisa, who is there on my screen. She may not be on your screen. And she's going to be kind of in charge of, if I say something and it's not on the screen, she's going to say the following key phrase.
Oh, Julian.
Thank you very much. Now that's scripted. We've agreed this beforehand. Because my intention is to try and show it from the teacher's point of view as well as the student's point of view. So I'll be using Google Chrome as the browser for the teacher, and I'll be using Firefox for the browser as the student. So just to show what that looks like, if you see this window with the black at the top, that is from the teacher's point of view. And if you see it with the silver at the top, that's from the student's point of view. So enough of that. Let's get started. If you do have any questions, please pop them in the chat box. I'll try and answer them as I go along if they kind of fit with it. If not, I normally leave about 5 minutes at the end where we can explore a little bit further. The session is being recorded by Lisa, so if you do want to revisit anything, because I do talk quite fast, I apologise for that. You can watch that, and that'll be available on the YouTube channel for tomorrow. So let's get started. The first tool I want to look at is a website called Quizzizz.com. It's Quizzizz.com. Now, what I'm going to be showing you tonight is basically just going to be what's on the basic plan, which is free for anybody and everybody to use. Quizzizz is, the thing I like about it is it's not just a quiz software, but it also includes some of the larger features that are quite useful, such as open questioning and polling, which can make the activities a little bit more interactive. The other thing with Quizzizz as well is that it connects to Google Classroom, which will be quite useful for a lot of you who are using it or Hub in your own settings. So what I'm going to start with is I'm just going to build a very basic quiz to show you how it looks and how we can link it to the students. For today's quiz, I've got here, so I'll just show what you hopefully should see now, which is I've made, this is a basic Word document quiz that I normally send out to students. My aim is to think about how can I make this more interactive for learners, because at the moment it looks very boring, it looks a bit dire. How can I make it somewhat exciting for them? So let's go from here. So I'm just now going to share my Quizzizz screen. So once you're logged in, you can log in with just your Gmail account or your Hub account, and we're going to go create, and we're going to go straight to quiz. So I'm going to give this a name. I'm going to call it safe. I'm going to actually spell it correctly. I'm going to call it Safeguarding 2021. Now they like to give it a subject name. It's more like a tag. I'm just going to put it under professional development, and I'm going to click next. So what this gives you straight away on the first screen is the different types of question you can ask. So it's not just multiple choice, it can be fill in the blank, it can be open-ended, and that's quite nice for us. We can also add an image, so you can personalize it to your class. Maybe you want to put your face on it, or a picture of your students, or a topic that fits well. So let's take this first one. Let's go for a multiple choice question. Now, with this, the great thing I like about Quizzizz is that it's set up for both the computer as well as tablets and mobile phones. So here is your design. So let me just take one of my questions. So there's my first question. I'm just going to paste that in. Okay. And then I'm just going to put my multiple choice answers in. Now I'm just going to copy and paste these multiple choice answers because I'm trying to take what I've already written and put it into the box just to make it a little bit easier. Just speed it up by. So what I can see now is here's my design, and here on the right is what it will look like. Now with the basic package, you can't add an explanation, which is one of the features that's a little bit of it's a pain with it. So once they answer it, it doesn't give anything further. But if you do want to have that, I'm going to look at how we can add explanations using Microsoft Forms and Google Forms later on. What you then do is you tick whichever is the correct answer. I can set a time limit to that question if I want. So if I want to set it as a quiz where I'm looking for them to go through, I can add that, but I'm going to give them 15 minutes on that one. That's enough time, really. I can add an image. The video and audio is a bonus add-on. And again, if we're thinking about accessibility, this is why I want to showcase how we can use Forms and Google Forms, especially if we want to have the answer read to us. So let's go save. So that's now added my question on there, and that's set. Let's add a new question. So I can have this next question as open-ended. So maybe my question is, what do you think of you safeguarding measures? Now this one here, it doesn't mark it as a point, but it gives you a collated answer. So they can type in and they get within that box up to 500 words that they can type in. So again, think about how long you're going to give them for that. And then we're going to hit save. So you really can start building quite a few different questions on here. Now, I want to add a new question. Now, say, for example, I can't think of a new question. Say, oh, I can't really think of one. You have on Quizzizz, you have what's called teleport. And this is really beneficial because I'm not sure, like me, I'm absolutely dreadful after a while of trying to think of a new question. Now, what this does is it will start reading what you've already started putting into your quiz. And it will find through other people who've uploaded quizzes, other questions very similar to the topic that you've selected. This is why that tag at the beginning is so important. So it's identified, I can put keywords in here. So I've put safeguarding, I can put safety, and I can put health. I can search. And what it will do now is it will start picking. That question makes no sense. I'm not sure I'm going to have that question in there. But I can pick through a quiz that's already here. So, okay, so if I like that question there, I can hit add. Now, what that's done is it has added that question from somebody else's quiz along with the multiple choice, along with whatever the correct answer is, to my existing quiz. And that's all put in there now. So that's, again, you go to teleport and you can search for a quiz question there. You know, if I want to make it a little bit more fun, say I want to put a quiz question in there about Disney. There we are. We have that one in. Hopefully a Spanish teacher can tell me that's Spanish. I don't know. So I can add those ones in. Now, once I've done this, it's automatically saved as I go along. So once I've done it, all I do is I go to done. Now, it is American, so it does like to have an American grading system, but those grades don't impact your quiz. It just means when other people are searching for questions, it's kind of, it will select them based on that. And then we hit save. So now my quiz is built. It's made. And with this, what I can do, if I go to my library, there's my quiz. I can now set it. Now I've got two options as to how I set this quiz. And I think this is one of the great things about this being the free option with it, is normally you have to pay for this next thing. So I can either have it as an instructor-led session. So for example, if I'm running this as a Zoom quiz, all I do is I hit start a live quiz. Now with the classic mode, when I set that, once a student answers it, they move on to the next question. They move on to the next question at their pace, but it's still live. Instructor paced means that I can set the question, the student's answer, and the great thing for us, it gives us that opportunity then to look at the answers that are given and maybe ask further questions to the students. Okay, 6 of you put B. Why did you think that? What's the next thing? So though it's synchronous, we can still pause it, stop it, allow for that collaboration and that critical thinking. So if we start it as a live quiz, I then hit, I can have it as classic, I can have it as team where I can put them into groups, and I'm just going to hit continue. There we go. So with that, all people would do is they would go onto their phone or their computer and they just type in joinmyquiz.com and they have that link. I can also hit or share via, and I can either copy that link, put it into Google Classroom, I can share it to Teams or Twitter, I can put it into the chat box. So for example, if I go to the chat box and I pop it in there for you, you can click on that. Now, with this one, I can set it so at the moment it's, I'll go back, but you can have it so students can't see each other's answers, because I think that's one of the things that maybe sometimes you don't always want. So there we go, we've got Bob in there. And I'm just going to get started. Let's see how many of you remember this. Now, on the teacher's screen, because this is currently at student pace, I can watch them as they go through, but the students can't see each other's answers that are there. But I can. Now, the key thing with Quizzizz is it focuses a lot on this idea of game-based learning. It's gamified. So the students get points as they progress through, and with every correct answer, they get this opportunity to get what's called power-ups. So if they get 5 in a row, they get a little bonus power-up. So they get maybe double points on their next question. So I can see how they're progressing as they go through. I can see that Bob's on a 3 streak. Very nice. Well done, Carrie. What it also gives me is I can see how accurate people's answers are. As a teacher, it gives me that opportunity to see, okay, are there any potential issues at the moment? Are there any potential barriers? Is there a repeated problem within this quiz for people to engage with? And then if you want to get really funky, you can add different themes. Let's go for a car theme. There we go. Okay. So hopefully you can see how it's very simple to set up, very simple to put out there and get people to engage with. I am going to stop you though, I'm afraid. Sorry, we've got lots of work to do. So I'm going to end it there. So I can see who's come where, I can share it if I want to, and I have that option available. Fantastic. So at the end of any of the quizzes, I don't just get the option to see which ones they got correctly. I can see how long each person took. So I can then start looking at, are there any patterns with the questions that are coming through? Now, once they're set up, with this one, it does have a thing where you set classes, which I'm going to look at, but I can send these reports then to the parents, I can send it to the students, and I can go through that way. So let's exit this and go into a little bit more detail with it. There we go. Thank you very much. So let's go to my library and let's go to reports now. Now, any quiz that's undertaken, I can go back through and I can see this from a live period of time. And this is always quite nice for people to see if you want to check a quiz that you've put out there. Now I'm going to take this quiz again, but I want to try it a little bit different. I want to do the same quiz, but this time I want to set it as asynchronous. I want to set it as homework for the students. So I'm going to hit assign homework. Now, what I can do with this one, I think this is one of the real benefits for those who are using Google Classroom or Hub, is I can assign it to a specific class. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to assign it to a class. Now I've already got this set up to Google Classroom. I'm going to hit Manage Classes. So let's add a class. So I'm going to update my Google Classes. So I've now got, these are the classes I teach, and I'm going to join the Wednesday NEU Murder, and I'm going to hit Save. So what this has done now is it's now connected my Google Classroom to my Quizzizz account. So now when I go to my library and I set this activity, I'm going to set it as an asynchronous homework, I can assign it to go straight to that class. So I can assign it to lots of different classes. So I'm going to call this the safeguarding quiz. I can give a little bit of details. I can also set up when I want it to run. So maybe I want to set it up for it to go on Monday morning. I can set that there. I'm going to hit next. Once I've done that, I can add a deadline for when it's got to be completed by. And here I've got these kind of more advanced settings. I can have it so they can try it only once or twice. I can have it where they get the correct answer once they've answered it. Adaptive learning, again, now adaptive learning is a bonus feature that you have to pay for. But what this does is once they complete the quiz once, it will do it again, but it will create a whole new set of questions for them. I can have a timer. Now, Rhiannon put in the box, she said, will they see each other's answers? Well, I can turn off the leaderboard. So what that does is it means that they won't see who got what points and bits and pieces. But that does take away this idea of getting the bonus points and the power-ups. So it's that decision as to whether you want to include that for it. They like to have memes after each question. I'll turn that off, got no time for that today. And it's got redemption questions. Now, redemption questions I'm going to come to later on because I think there's something that's really quite nice for the students. So let's assign this. Okay. So what I'm going to do now is I'm just going to flick to my student screen. So here is my student screen. They're in the Wednesday NEU Murder. Now you can see already the quiz that I've set up has gone straight to my Google Classroom. So the learner can click on that box. There you go. And what it does is it just puts the initials in of the name. It doesn't put in their full name, it will just put in their initials. Now they can, if they want to, they can go in, they can change it, but it still just puts in their initials. There we go. And now I can see there, they've got their assigned activity. It's got this little bell for them. Now this is for them to do in their own time. So from the student screen, they can see their profile, so they can update it. They get these little power-ups for how many times a day they come in and do a quiz, but they're going to do the one that I've assigned them. So they've got the read aloud mode, which I'm going to come to. They can have the sound effects, they can have the music. I'm going to turn the music off because it annoys me. And if they want to, they can add a name in there. So they're going to put their full name in. And they hit start. Now, as they go through, one of the things they get is if they do certain amounts, they get these bonus add-ins. So they've gone for the cat mode, no, dogs film. I'll stick with the dogs film mode, that's fine. Now, with the read aloud mode, it will read the question to them, which is one of the kind of bonus features I really kind of enjoy from this, and it's great. So they can do the quiz. Here they go. And then all they would do is, now it doesn't like Spanish, but I know this one's, what I'm going to do is I'm going to put the wrong answer in. So I can see where I am. So so again, they've put the wrong answer in. Okay. So now they've put their answer in. Okay. So what this has done, now it's taken me through, I get what's called redemption. So I can pick one of the questions that I got incorrect, and what it'll do is it'll give me a chance to have another go at it to earn points. So it does enforce this idea of reflection in practice for them. So let's go, I'm going to go for question 3. And now I've started getting my points out. There we go. So it tells me how I went, how I got on. Now it also gives me these review questions. So what I can do is I've got these study flashcards for the student. Now with the study flashcards, what's a great feature of this is that I can look at it and it gives me a chance. I can go flip it and it gives me the right answer. So I can use it as a little bit of practice, like you would a flashcard, to go through and practice after the quiz based on what you've already created. So I can go back through the questions I had and I can practice my questions, primarily the ones I got wrong. So it's a great way of recapping and playing around with those questions. Now, once the student has done that quiz, one of the things, I was talking to a friend of mine earlier, and she was saying about how her son was getting bored. Now with Quizzizz, and one of the great things about it is that the student themselves can find alternate quizzes. They don't just have to do the one that you did. They can go through existing ones. So, you know, if they have, say they want to find a quiz on football, there we go. They can play and practice this quiz, or they can challenge other people, other friends of theirs. They can pick it on any subject they want. And this is all about this idea of they build up points and they get streaks to boost their profile. And it's one of the features I really do like about it. Now, if we go back to our teacher's screen, I can go to reports now, and there we go. I can see this is the one I'm running asynchronous. And I can go in and I can see who has partaken in this so far. So I can see each of the students that has started this. I can see their score. I can go in and go, well, Beth, that's dreadful. You should know the name of that one. It's not Keith. So even though it's asynchronous, I can still go in, see who's completed. I can go through the questions. I can go see. So if I go to the questions, I can see if there's a specific pattern as to where there are current issues within this. Okay. With the other quizzes, They are regulated in terms of, because this is things like swearing and stuff isn't allowed on this, and it's one of the things that, so it is, they do check and they do go through. So from a safeguarding point of view, it is perfect for students. Rhiannon's asked a great question. Are you able to record your own voice for the read loud option as I teach in Welsh? No, and this is one of the big downfalls I find of it. Unless you pay for the super plan, in which you can then add audio files, you can't. And this is why I want to show using Forms and Google Forms in a minute. But no, great question. Now, what else can we do with Quizzizz? One of the things that's on there, can you control the names children pick? On the synchronous one, you can delete a person. So if they put a daft name when they go up, you can. Now, when they do it through Google Classroom, they can only have the name, even if they decide to put a daft name in, it will still be connected to their Google Classroom participant. So you'll still know who it is who put the daft name, because it will come with that. And other students won't see the daft name if someone's decided to put it there. But because of the nature of it, how is this being used? Because they want to get the points and they want to get the badges and the powers up, a lot of them will stick their original name in there, from what I found of this being used in practice. Well, from people I've spoken to. Now, the next feature we can look at with Quizzizz is lesson. Now, the thing I liked about this is, let's put safeguarding in again, is that this works very much like Nearpod. And the thing I like about it is that I think it works a little bit better. I think it's a little bit smoother, and I don't think I'd actually ever really say that. So this is a way of creating interactive PowerPoints based on the experience. So you have the option here. You can import slides from Google Slides and PowerPoint. So if you have an existing PowerPoint, you can drag and drop that in. You can also drag and drop PDFs. The only thing is, once they're on there, you can't edit the individual slides. So if you want to change the text or anything, you can't. So I can put a theme in here. So let's put a theme in. There you go. That one looks good. And I just type into it very much like you would with a standard PowerPoint. So let's just put information guidance. Add quiz. There we go. Now I'm going to add my next slide. So again, very much like these are the basic three you get. All of these ones here, the media ones, are the bonus, the pay for ones. So I can put just a basic slide in. So here we go, title on topic, and then I can put information, information, information. I can do that, it's absolutely fine. Now what you have got with this as well is you have got the, you can add formulas in. And I think it's one of the things that's really quite useful with this, because previously I didn't think they were that great. So I can, hello Steve. Sorry, my dog's decided to come in and tell me something. Shush, go to sleep. So with this, I can put in, shush, mathematical equations for people to follow. And it's quite a nice equation editor, so I don't have to copy and paste different bits and pieces. And I can insert that in. So I can write these sums in here. Now, when I go to add slide, say I want a multiple choice question. I want to bring a quiz question in here. I have got, again, the math element I can bring in. So if I do want to put a quiz in there, so let's say 2x plus 5 equals 17. I can insert that. There we go. And underneath I'll have, let's put in what is x. And then I can put the questions underneath. So I can just kind of put in there what it is. Fantastic. Now, again, the audio and the video is a bonus add-on, so you can't kind of go from there. So you can't add that in. Again, it's one of the issues with it, but it does have the read-along feature. So I can now publish this once I'm happy. But say I want to add one more slide in. So let's add another slide. I can put a poll in there now. So let's put got it. Did you enjoy this? And I can put in there. Yes. No. Don't care. Now I'm happy and I can go publish. So I put the grade in. Okay, it doesn't really matter. And I hit publish. So now when I go to my library, there's my lesson. So I've now got this interactive PowerPoint with the quizzes. The students still get the chance to do the power-ups and the bonuses and stuff. And I get the option again. I can do it as an instructor-led session, or I can do it as asynchronous. So I'm going to assign it as homework. I'm going to assign it to a class. I'm going to put it to my Wednesday NEU group. I can go into the description, complete this, and make sure you write. And I do have the option then to have it as a separate time. Okay, I can go back through, I can get rid of the leaderboard, I can get rid of a timer. I can have it set here where it creates names for them, but it's still, because it's connected to Google Classroom, I see their real name, but it means that they don't have, they can't type in their own name there. So if you did want to get rid of that option, you can put that one there and it sets names for them. Once I'm happy, hit assign. So let's go back to my teacher screen. So here we are, we're back on my teacher screen. I'm going to go to my classroom so I can see this. I'll just refresh it. There we go. Now, the thing as well to remember this, you may see here, because I set a date when it's got to be completed by, and because it's linked to my Google Classroom, it will tell them, like an assessment, when it needs to be done by. So it will come up on their diary and tell them they've got homework to do. Now, the other thing with this as well, the great thing again with Quizzizz is not all students have a PC. So maybe they're doing it on a tablet, maybe they're doing it on a mobile phone. Now, when you set it up to go to Google Classroom, it will give them two links. They can use a mobile link and a web link. Now, with the mobile link, it changes the format of it, so it's a bit easier for them to read off a phone or a tablet. It's a bit more user-friendly on those options there than opposed to the web. So they do get the two options as to what medium they want to use. So they're going to log in, so they're going to use either the Google Classroom account, and they're going to hit start. So now we can see how. So it does have that reading for them. There we go. And now they got these quizzes that they can go through. There we go, lovely. And that's it. Now, once they've done it, it doesn't mean that they're, like with earlier, they can review it, they can go back through the questions, so they can do it as much as they want, really. Let's just go through this. So if they do want to review the answers they gave, and maybe they want to change it, they do have that option there. Let's go back to our teacher screen. What do they see? So here's my teacher. Go to reports, and they can see the session that's been running and who's participated, what their accuracy, which of the students from my class have not joined it yet or not completed the work. And I can sort it out by that way. So Quizzizz itself is, the thing I like about it is just its simplicity, its ability for you to find other questions if you want to build it. It's very interactive. And again, I think the feature that works really well is the idea that it kind of gamifies the learning. They get the power-ups very much like on computer consoles. But then also it's that bonus one. You can set them a thing of going, okay, I'd like you to find another quiz on a topic of interest for you, and you're going to tell me about it. And you can then track and see their progress as they go through, with how many points they get and bits and pieces. Are there any questions at all on Quizzizz? Please whack them in the chat box, and I'll see if I can help answer them as much as possible. So if you have any questions about Quizzizz, please pop them in the chat box. No? Okay, good. So I think one of the things that's been picked up already is that there are, though, some current shortfallings with regards to it. And I think this is where sometimes we need to look at using forms, we look at using Google Forms. There is a recording of this and it will be out tomorrow. Now, for those that have not looked at this too much, Microsoft Forms and Google Forms do give you the option to create interactive quizzes. And what I want to do is I want to show both of them at the same time to create the same quiz to kind of show where they are strong and where maybe you may want to use a different one, really. I know some people are using Google Classroom tools. I know some people are using Teams. So they're both very much the same option there. So with Microsoft Forms, when you go into it, you do get a few options. If you create a new form, it will just be like a questionnaire. And what we want to create is a quiz where the students get assessed on points and they get marks back. So we're going to go to new quiz. Now, if you go to Google Forms to do the same, what you would do is you would go to blank when you go onto Google Forms, and you'd go to, there's a little cog here at the top right, and you go to quizzes. And then what you need to do is hit make this a quiz. Now, what this does is it assigns a point value to each question, and the students will get a grade once they've seen it. Now, you do get the options with Google to either they can see which questions they've missed, they can see which ones they got the correct answer or the points. You can also turn on a manual review, so they don't get the full answer. So if they got 9 out of 10, they don't get it to a later stage. I'm going to have it as immediately, and I'm going to hit save. On the Microsoft Forms one, you do get the same sort of settings here, but it goes a little bit detailed. So who can fill out this form? So only people in the organization. So if a student has a link and they send it, only those with an account link can use it for that one there. I've got it here for show result automatically. I can turn that off, in which they only get the mark once it's been shared with the teacher, and they can then send it back to them. Now, what you do get with this one as well is the option to shuffle the questions. If you have some of the questions, I know I was pretty awful for it, but you know, what did you get for number 5? Oh, I put C. Brilliant. I'll put C for number 5. Shuffle them gives that option where it means that they can't do that one. You can get response receipts, so it's very much like an email as well. With this one, you can assign different themes to make it a little bit more exciting. Again, it's just adding a little bit of personality to the quiz that you've got. And this is very much the same with the Google form, where you can add, maybe just change the background color. Now with the Google one, you can change the font, and I would suggest maybe this one here, which is like a Comic Sans. It's a little bit easier for people to read, but not a great deal of play around with it. The choice is yours really with that one. So let's take our basic quiz. So once I hit add, I'm going to pick the different question I want. So I'm going to go for the first one I want to be my multiple choice. So let's take the first question I made from my Word document. Just going to paste that one in. And then I'm going to do exactly the same. And it's the same process for the Google form. And I'm just going to go through, I'm going to pick my answers. So what I might do actually is a bit easier if I just do that. and I just put my options in. Now with that one there, I can just pop them all in at once, and I've just copied that straight off the Word document. So as you can see with Microsoft Forms and Google Forms, very much exactly the same process with this one. Now with the Microsoft Form one, to click which one is the right answer, you just hit the tick. So there's a little tick. Now, the one thing I really like about this one is I can add, see a little message there, the speech mark, I can add a little bonus question, a little bit more information. Correct. This is, or I may want to add a little bit more further knowledge, or maybe I might put a web link or a YouTube link or something for them to go further. Now on Quizzizz, that was a bonus that you have to pay for, but on this one here, it's completely free. So I'm just going to put that little message there when they've done it correctly. I can also put in there, try again, look online, I don't know. So it does give me that option to play around with it. On this one here, it doesn't give you that option afterwards once they've written it, which I think is a little bit of one of the shortfalls of Google Forms over it. So Microsoft Forms gives you the option for bonus information after each question, whereas your Google Forms doesn't. It literally goes, that's the correct answer. So I'll just click. That's the correct answer. There we go. Now I can add larger feedback once they've got it correct, and I can put a link in there, but rather than for each, I can't do it for individual questions, I can do it for general ones. So say once they've got the correct answer, I can have an great work, and hit save. I can assign a point value with the Google Forms one, so I can give them 3 points. With this one, it's just whether you get 1 point, it's correct, it's the next one through. So let's look at our next question we're going to do. So I'm going to put it as a text answer. Now what I want for this one is I'm going to have on here, I'm going to insert media. Now I can insert a video, so I'll just show that again because I went through a bit quick there, sorry. So I'm going to hit that little picture of insert media, and then I'm going to hit video. Now say I've got a YouTube video. So here's a YouTube video, and I'm going to copy this web link at the top. I'll go to my quiz, I'll post a web link, and what I can do now is I can have a question. What do you think? I don't know, something like that. So now I've got the YouTube video they have to watch, and they've got a long answer they can put in there. On the Google Forms one, they're going to put in the next question. And what if you want to do that on this one, what you do is you click this here for add video. I put in the same link. There we go. Select. I'm just going to move that down below it. Go safeguarding video, and I can put the question there. So I can have the same one, I can have it as open, I can have either a short answer or a paragraph, so longer text, and I can have the same question. Now with this one, if it's a long answer, I can put an answer key in there, I can give them some points for it, and I can give them some feedback, very much the same, if I so wish. And that's the same with the Microsoft Forms one. Let's add another question. So again, I can have a poll on this one, or a Likert scale. So very much like with Quizzizz, I can have the that in there. So did you enjoy this? I'm gonna have 10 levels. And again, if I go to my Google Forms, let's put in another question. And this question, I can have it as a linear scale. So there we go. Now, one of the things that was asked earlier was this idea of you can add your own video clip, but your video clip has to be a YouTube link. But what you can do with this, if you're going to add media, it has to be either one that's online, but you can also, remember we said earlier about recording, and we looked last week at Vocaroo. So you can use Vocaroo to record short audio clips online, which then once they're done, you can save and share them. So that's now saved online. I'm going to copy that URL. I go back to my Google form and I go to URL. Now, not with that one, sorry. With Microsoft Forms, I can add text another question. So I can have here, copy this link and answer. With Google Forms, what I can do is I can have, again, it's that hyperlink there to it, but it will always be the YouTube one. So if you do want to make your own videos, or if you do want to have your own recordings, a student will have to copy and paste that link and put it over. So that's one of the key things. However, I am going to look at the accessibility feature with Forms, which I think is really quite beneficial. So I've done my worksheets. There's the link. So with the link on Microsoft Forms, they can click that. So I can do that with Microsoft Forms and have that there. Now, once I've done this quiz, I'm going to share it. Now, I can either send it as a hyperlink here, or I can put it into my Teams page. Now, I'm going to copy this, and I'm going to put it into the chat box. So this is me as a student. I've come in, and I can now do the Microsoft Form quiz. It's taken part, it's built for me. Now, one of the key features with the Microsoft package I find over the Google package, and this is important for us to consider, is accessibility Immersive Reader. So for the student, they can go to Immersive Reader. And this is one of the real big bonuses of the Microsoft tools over the Google package. Now, with Immersive Reader, they can adjust voice settings for them, so they can have it read to them. They can change the size of the text, the background font. So if the quiz you've made doesn't really suit them, or they don't enjoy it, they can still take part in the quiz, but have it done for them. They also have the option for it to be translated. So if they, say for example, they want the quiz that you've written, but they want it in Welsh. There we go. They now have it translated into Welsh for me. Now, it doesn't like it reading back to you, so this is where, unfortunately, you've got to have it set for, maybe record it using Vocaroo if you want it in Welsh for them, but it does have it in other languages where it will play it back for them. So if they want to read the next question, let's go for this question here. They just go to Immersive Reader. So they do have that option for them. Again, if they want to translate it, they can translate the document and they can read it in Welsh if they want it in Welsh, or they can have it in English for them. So it is available. With the Google one, again, same as with the Microsoft Form one, you go to send, you can send it as a link. So you can copy the link, put it in the document page, and there you go. The student can now take part in this quiz. Now with both of these, really, once they've put their answer in, they're very much kind of the same. There we go, and submit. And I'll do the same for the Microsoft Form one, just to show you how they're very much the same. So once the student has submitted the quizzes, this one I've set it so they can see their results afterwards. But as the tutor, I can now go in, I can see the reports. So here on Microsoft Forms, all I would do is I'd log back in, go to that quiz, and I've got at the top here responses. I can go to responses, I can see who answered what. So what I can do here is I can go to more details. I can see the name of the student and the response they gave. And I can see it once I've got a lot more, how many people put what for what answer. It will also open it in Excel for me. Very much the same if I go to Google Forms, responses at the top, and I can see who posted what and where they got their score from. So they do follow very much the same procedure, and this will open up in Google Sheets for me, which is the version of Excel. So Quizzizz, again, is a great tool for really looking at gamifying the classroom. And I think it's a good one to get people building with. And it's a great way of you kind of making it very interactive in the classroom. Microsoft Forms and Google Forms, if they're the tools that you wish to use, because again, there's not adverts and it doesn't go onto a website, you can still do quite a few of the features that are on Quizzizz for free using those two tools. You've got the accessibility features there, which I think is really beneficial. Someone's asked a great question. When I create a Microsoft Form quiz, can I send it to another teacher so they can use it as well? Yeah, what you would do here, if you've made a quiz, so say for example, I've made this quiz here. What I can do is I hit share, and I can share it as a link, share it as a template, or I can get a link to view and edit. So say for example, I've made this quiz, I can send it with a link to view and edit for those who are using an Office 365 account. And when they open it, it means they can maybe adjust the questions if they want. So if they want to go in and go, oh, that's good, but I'm going to add a few more questions. Oh, Lisa, you're doing dreadful at telling me oi.
Sorry.
For about time. I'm not showing it again.
I concentrated all the way through.
Were you? Let me show again. So let's go back. So say, for example, I've got a quiz I've made. So I'll go to, so this is a quiz I've made and I want to share it with a colleague so they can edit it. So I now go to share. And what I have here is I have a thing which says share to collaborate. Now, if I share to collaborate, I can copy that, send it to them. It means we're both working on it at the same time. If I get a link to duplicate, it means that they can take that link and I send them a duplicate version which they can edit to their heart's delight, and it doesn't affect the one that I've created. So you can, all you do is you go to share and I can do it that way there. On Google Forms, you don't have that option, unfortunately. I can send it, but I can only send it as one where either I add collaborators and we both work on it and both send it to our classes, but not where it duplicates it. So it's not that option there. Loads I've covered. I do apologize if I sped through, but if you have any more questions, please drop them in the chat box and I would do my best to answer them. I do apologize if you've heard my grumpy dog. Oi. But no, thank you so much for coming along and having a go. If you do have questions, please ask them and I'm more than happy to help. Can you hear that dog, Lisa? He's incessant.
Thank you.
That's right, thank you. Oh, I'm glad it's useful. That's really great to see. Thank you, guys. Are there going to be more sessions? I think there are, aren't there? Still loads more to do. Yes, spot on, Lisa. Yeah, absolutely. It's such a, again, it's such a simple way. Just flip the classroom, get the students to make the quiz for their peers, and you can do it. They can do it with quizzes as well. So Simone, you've asked a good question. When I was sharing the audio, that's my own fault. What you've got to do is when you go to share screen, so when you hit share screen, you can't see it, but the white box comes up on Zoom, and there's a little box that says share sound, and I didn't have that clicked. So when you share on Zoom, hit share, white box appears, and there's a little tick box at the bottom left that says share sound. I didn't see that was unticked, so sorry. On Teams, it should be exactly the same. There should be a little tick box, which I can't see. Yes, you can share sound on Google Meet, again, just through the settings. For some reason, all the really important things, they hide behind about 3 walls. Steve, I was going on about how good you were today. We'll see. Steve, come here. Come here. All right. Come on, apologise to all these people for being a... Oh, if children could respond orally. Yeah, I was talking to someone about this, Rhiannon. Great question. Best way, again, is Vocaroo, and they send a link. That's, I know somebody's done their assessment that method where they've recorded. That's the way I found at the moment is doing that. And they add that. That's the easiest way for them. It means as well they don't have to download software. They can just do it online, and also it doesn't impact too much of what stuff they've got. So Vocaroo all the way. Yeah, Dawn Stevens just put it as well, Vocaroo. And also then they can do it in Welsh, which is, again, it is really important that we do as much as we can. So it's great. The recording of this will be on YouTube tomorrow sometime, Lisa?
Yeah, tomorrow sometime.
I'll try and do it for the morning and then it'll be on.
But you'll send a link out, won't you, Lisa?
Yeah, I'll send a link out with a feedback link as well. So
somebody also asked Julian about how do they find out about your upcoming sessions. Well, as soon as we've agreed them with you and we've got them all published and ready to go, then we email, we Facebook. You can follow us on Eventbrite and be one of the first to know. There are an awful lot of people do book before they're actually published anywhere else because they're following us on Eventbrite. So yeah, lots of ways.
Yeah, because I think we're going to look at last week's session, but a little bit different, aren't we? We've got a few bits, and I think it'd be good for us to kind of go look at what we did during the summer.
Yes, yeah, we need to have that meeting, and I've been really busy this week. I'm sorry. So lazy. I know. I know. You're lucky you weren't at the meeting I was at earlier. I'm a bit off a couple of heads. Oops.
Definitely saying nothing.
You know, you get to the point in the week when it's, you know, it's like Wednesday, you think, oh, I've got 2 days to go. And then by Thursday, you're thinking it should be Friday already.
I was playing with Quizzizz earlier, just to kind of double check a few things. And I found myself, I did about 5 quizzes because I wanted to up my level. I was like, oh no. I was like, I did one on triangles. I did one on basic geometry. I was like, I've not done maths in years. I don't have to do maths. But I found myself going, I need to get more points. And then I got more badges. So my character, my avatar's is epic on Quizzizz. So I think this is the thing I love about it. It's you know, once a student's done a quiz with you, that drive for them to try something else out and upskill and bits and pieces, and so many of them are missing. They do enjoy learning, and I think it's a misconception and assumption that children don't like learning, and they do. And you know, we don't all, unfortunately, gamification. I've written about the benefits and the negatives of it, but it's a great way of getting them involved and keeping them on the ball with it. So hopefully that was useful.